The Hero 3, the Hero 2, and the Pile Expo action cam. So at first look at the Expo, it's a little bit bulkier than your average GoPro. It has the power button on the side, and on the underside of the camera is a little mount for hooking up to a tripod. And on the far left side is a micro USB, a micro SD card up to 32 gigabytes, and a HDMI out. A word of warning for anyone trying to put in the SD card, it can be kind of a tight fit, so you should get someone with fingernails to try that. Now obviously the biggest advantage this action cam has over something like a GoPro is an LCD screen integrated. It does make it more bulky, but for positioning the camera, it helps a lot. Also, navigating the menu is a lot easier having a full LCD screen on the back. It does come with an app for iOS or Android, but I could not for the life of me get it to work. But with this LCD screen, you don't really need to connect it to your phone anyway. On the front of the camera, underneath the panel, is a 1050 milliamp battery, which gave me about an hour and a half worth of recording time. And side by side with the Hero 3, you can see it's a tad bulkier, mostly because it does have the LCD screen included, and it is much similar in size to the Hero 2. The Expo comes with a couple of sticky mounts where you have to apply the stickers yourself, a handlebar mount with some screw hardwares, a Wi-Fi remote for remotely starting and stopping recordings, and the hardware does look very similar to what GoPro offers, but is slightly different, so you won't be able to use any of your existing GoPro hardware with this camera. So now that we've introduced the hardware and mounts, let's take it out for a spin. I'm at a secret location where we will be testing this, because obviously if you're going to be doing an action cam, well, you got to be doing some action. So why don't you come on a ride with me and we'll see how this camera does. Now right off the bat you can tell the audio isn't that great on the camera, but the video does work pretty well. If you're going to be testing an action camera, do it in full gear. So the Pile Expo will record at 1080, 960, 720, or 480. At 1080 it'll be able to do 30 frames, at 720 it can do 60 frames. So pretty similar to the GoPro Hero 2 or the Hero 3 Silver Edition. The Pile also sports a 20 megapixel image sensor, which is larger than anything GoPro offers, as the GoPro Hero Black has a 12 megapixel camera. Now that doesn't equate to a better image than the GoPro Black. I would say the Black still has the advantage there, but where the 20 megapixel sensor comes in handy is low light situations like riding through shadows and things like that. It's on par with the more expensive GoPro cameras. But the actual video is a little bit more grainy, and I had the white balance set to auto, and it definitely looks a lot more saturated than the GoPro cameras. As for pros and cons, first and foremost, the LCD screen helps the Pile a lot. It does add to its girth, but when navigating the menu and setting up shots, the LCD screen is super helpful. Another pro is the features. The Pile comes with a motion sensing feature where you can have it set to start recording whenever it senses motion. And in the settings, you can dial in your exposure meter, ISO settings, or light frequency options. And another pro is with the 20 megapixel sensor, the low light video is on par with the Black Edition GoPro cameras. As for cons, the first one is lack of mounting hardware. There's not a lot of options for where you can mount them, and you have to apply stickers yourself to the mounting hardware that you want to use. Also, the phone app is pretty much worthless, and it's also negated because it does come with an LCD screen, so there's not much reason to want to use the phone anyway. And the last con is the size. It's big, it's bulky, and it feels a lot heavier than the GoPros. So is the Pile Expo Action Cam a buy, try, or don't buy? If you're looking for something with an LCD screen, then I'd give it a buy. But if you're looking for the best bang for your buck, the GoPro Silver Edition is still probably that, so I'd have to give it a try for most people. But in the end, the Pile is a solid action cam that is trying to mimic the GoPro, but doesn't quite reach